Welcome to this explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today. Look, go ahead and pull up a chair because for this session, I'm going to be stepping into the role of your seasoned Silicon Valley angel investor mentor. We are going to completely deconstruct Naval Ravikant's legendary playbook for escaping that exhausting 9-to-5 grind and finally building truly scalable digital wealth. So if you've been feeling totally stuck in this endless loop of just waiting for the next paycheck and you really want to transition into digital entrepreneurship, you are in the exact right place. Let's get into it. We're going to kick things off with a pretty tough pill to swallow. You are not going to get rich renting out your time. It just doesn't work that way. Honestly, even if you grind and climb to the absolute top of the corporate ladder, or you become a highly paid doctor or lawyer, at the end of the day, you're still just trading your hours for a salary. The exact second you stop working, whether you want to take a nice vacation or, eventually retire, the money simply stops flowing. There's a hard mathematical ceiling to renting your time. And to break through it, we need to completely rewire your mental model. So, here is our masterclass syllabus for today. We'll cover wealth versus renting time, unlocking your specific knowledge, permissionless leverage, asymmetric bets, and wrap up with trust and long-term games. All right, section 1, wealth versus renting time. It's time to escape the trap. I really want you to pause and ask yourself this right now. What is true wealth? Really think about it, because most people completely confuse true wealth with just having a high status salary. Society practically brainwashes us to chase status, right? Buying the flashy car or the newest smartphone just to look rich. But like we just talked about, a high-paying salary vanishes the moment your input stops. True wealth is an entirely different beast. Just look at the absolute stark contrast here. Money is basically just an exchange mechanism. You hand over your time, you get handed some cash. It requires your continuous, exhausting physical or mental labor. Wealth, on the flip side, is having assets. It's owning equity in a business. It's writing software code or recording media content that works for you 24/7. Wealth is the factory running at 2 a.m. while you're snoring. As an owner, you hold equity that compounds while you sleep, completely detached from your daily hours. But to build those incredibly valuable assets, you need an unshakable foundation. And that brings us right into section 2, unlocking your specific knowledge. This concept is an absolute game changer. Specific knowledge is that hyper-unique combination of your traits and passions that literally feels like play to you, but looks like agonizing work to everyone else. The beauty of this? It cannot be outsourced to someone cheaper, and it definitely cannot be automated by AI. Why? Because it's deeply, deeply tied to your authentic self, your DNA, and the random things you naturally obsessed over as a kid. It is not something you're going to learn sitting in some generic college lecture hall. So how do we actually find your specific edge today? Well, here is a practical step-by-step roadmap. Number 1, audit your childhood curiosities. Were you the kid taking apart the toaster? Were you obsessed with sci-fi? Number 2, what feels like play to you right now in your daily life? Number 3, look for unique skill combinations. Maybe you're decently good at coding, you totally understand business strategy, and you have a knack for telling a good story. That intersection, that is your superpower. And finally, just ask your friends, what advice do they constantly come to you for? Doing this audit lets you convert your personal curiosities into a highly scalable digital business model. Okay, so once you've identified that specific knowledge, you absolutely must amplify it. That brings us to section 3, permissionless leverage and scale. Look, the crucial thing to understand here is that not all leverage is created equal. Let's look at the old school types. Labor means managing people. It's the oldest form of leverage, but man, it is messy, high friction, and requires incredible leadership skills. Then you have capital, managing money. But to get capital, you have to beg gatekeepers like venture capitalists or banks to give you permission to use it. But in the internet age, the third type, code and media, gives you a literal army of robots locked in data centers, working for you completely for free. And that brings us to the magic word, permissionless. Permissionless leverage means you don't need a single person's approval to succeed. Building a software app, writing a book, or recording a podcast scales vastly better than any traditional human labor. Think about it for a second. A developer writes code exactly once and it serves millions of users instantly. You create once and you sell infinitely. It completely levels the playing field and democratizes wealth creation for all of us. Now, right about now, you might be feeling super inspired to march into your boss's office and quit your job today. Please don't do that. Welcome to section 4, asymmetric bets without quitting. The secret to transitioning safely from salary to entrepreneurship is the asymmetric opportunity. This is basically a fancy way of describing a scenario where your downside is strictly capped, but your upside is essentially infinite. Think about uploading a 10-minute video to social media. Your absolute maximum loss in that scenario is just the 10 minutes it took you to hit record, but the potential reward? It could generate thousands of hours of watch time, build immense authority, and create a scalable income stream for years down the road. So to make this actionable, here are 3 incredibly low-risk side projects you can start to test your ideas in the real market. Build a highly niche social media brand. Write a specialized weekly newsletter, or code up a basic digital tool. You do this on your evenings and weekends. It lets you use the internet to build real authority and trust within your specific niche, all while maintaining the financial safety net of your current day job. Think about companies like Casper Mattresses. They built massive trust just by teaching people about sleep hygiene long before they ever tried to sell them a bed. Teach first, build authority, and trust me, the sales will naturally follow.
But to truly make that leap into entrepreneurship, it's not just about the code or the media. We're at Section 5, Trust, Sales, and Long-Term Games.
You have got to master the human element. Naval highly recommends reading Robert Cialdini to really grasp psychology and persuasion. You should study basic game theory and microeconomics so you understand how markets actually function. Heck, practice some kind of direct sales to build up your resilience to rejection. Ultimately, you must master the skill of selling your ideas clearly. Because listen to me, the greatest productize yourself strategy in the universe will fail completely if you can't build trust and effectively persuade your audience, your future partners, and your customers. And keep this in mind, all the great returns in life come from compound interest. We usually think about that with money, but it applies heavily to your professional reputation too. Small, consistent daily actions compound massively over time. Prioritizing purpose, ethics, and transparency over making a quick short-term buck automatically turns your casual customers into fiercely loyal brand advocates. Just look at a brand like Patagonia, who prioritized environmental purpose over blind growth. That kind of consistency captures lasting, bulletproof trust. And as your digital business eventually grows, you are going to need to bring in partners. You need to be absolutely ruthless about auditing them. Run away from the short-term thinkers who are just chasing a quick buck. You are looking for long-term partners who are characterized by high intelligence, boundless energy, and above all, uncompromising integrity. Wealth creation is not a sprint, it's a long-term game, and it absolutely must be played with long-term people. As we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this absolute core philosophy from Naval. And as your mentor for today, I want this etched into your brain. Earn with your mind, not your time. Stop looking for ways to just work harder and longer. Start looking for ways to think smarter. You have to transition your mindset from renting out your daily hours to a boss to owning and scaling your intellectual future through your specific knowledge and permissionless leverage. The internet has literally democratized wealth creation. You no longer need permission from a single gatekeeper to start building your own empire. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Will you spend tomorrow trading another day of your time in the corporate hierarchy? Or will you start leveraging your specific knowledge to build a digital asset tonight that earns while you sleep? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.